Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden, and in today's video we have the next video of the 5 reasons you should and 5 reasons you should not buy a certain car. We started this like last week, I want to say, with the BMW E46, and today we're going to be going over 5 reasons I think you should buy and 5 reasons I think you should not buy the Lexus SC300s or SC400s, because they're both similar. I don't want to make a whole separate video for each one. Either way, I wrote out a little like a disclaimer here, but I haven't been able to remember it yet, like memorize it. So I'm gonna look at my computer and not look at you guys while I talk about it real quick. Okay, sorry. I scoured the internet to see what all owners of the car were saying and got the common complaints and common praises about the car here for you. However, I have never owned one of these cars myself, so if you think I got something wrong or would like to add something that you think other people should know, the comments are public and I would greatly appreciate it. Despite what some people may think, I don't like spreading misinformation. Like, I know some people probably think I do, but I don't really understand how that would work in my favor at all. So no, that's not what I like to do. So again, if any owner here, if I say something that's wrong, or if you just think there's something else that I blatantly missed that should be mentioned, by all means, I'd greatly appreciate it. I'll give your comment one of those heart things if you do that. Either way, movie of the day is the second Hunger Games, The Scorched Trials. Yeah, movie of the day yesterday was the first Hunger Games. The movie today is the second one. Spoiler alert, movie of the day tomorrow is probably going to be the third one, because they're all pretty good. I like them all, man. Like, this is not one of those series where it's like, oh, the first one's the best and everything else sucked. No, it's like, pretty much every Maze Runner movie I've watched so far, pretty freaking good. It was a good movie. Without further ado, let's go right into it, though, with reason number 1 as to why I think you should buy the SC300 and SC400. We're going to do one reason why you should, one reason why you shouldn't, one reason why you should, one reason why you shouldn't, repeating until we get to 10 total, 5 each. You get it. And reason number 1 why I think you should buy a Lexus SC300 or SC400 is, simply put, the pricing of them. They are very cheap. Now, are they as cheap as they were 5 years ago? Obviously not. People like Mark Roden have made videos talking about the SC300s and SC400 and praise them. I just choked for some reason there. And because of that, the prices have gone up a little bit. More people have learned about these cars and more people are wanting these cars. However, it is still very possible to find an automatic SC300 or an SC400, which are all automatics, by the way, for easily under 5K. Now, are they going to be in the best condition, no rust whatsoever, like low mileage? Obviously not, but it's still a Japanese rear-wheel drive, cool-looking 2JZ or 1UZ powered car for less than $5,000. You really can't go too wrong with that, especially if you want something that's just like a daily. Like, these are good daily drivers that are cool and fun to drive as well. I think the price of them is perfect. However, for the reasons as to why you should not buy one, the first reason is all the electrical issues that these cars tend to have. Things like window regulators, speedometer, and AC has a lot of issues on these cars, apparently, based on the forums I've read. Which makes sense. For those who don't know, the SC300 and SC400 was Toyota's Halo car, which means that during the time, they were putting every single piece of like new technology they could possibly think of on this car. Some of these things ended up working out and are really cool, and it's the reason why the SC300's interior, by the way, is so like high tech and ahead of its time. It's because they tried all these new things that were going to be ahead of their time and put them in the SC300. But because of that, obviously what that means is, on one hand, yes, it looks great and it's very futuristic and has this very weird interior that almost no other car in the world has. But at the same time, since it was so innovative, some of those things are broken, and now 30 years later. So unfortunately, the electrical issues are abundant. Reason number 2 as to why I think you should buy a Lexus SC300 or SC400, however, dude, for some reason today, my left ear is like clogged, and it's causing me to like feel out of whack. I can't, it's driving me absolutely insane. I'm like hearing myself echo in my head. You know what I mean. It's freaking annoying. Either way, reason number 2 as to why I think you should buy a Lexus SC300 or SC400 is the reliability. In terms of the motor, I should say, because the transmission's reliability is just an average transmission. It's nothing special, but it's not bad either. Differential, same thing. Suspension is fine, it's whatever. But it's really the motors of these cars that are extremely reliable, bulletproof motors. The 2JZ is definitely the less reliable one over the 1UZ, but it's still a really reliable freaking motor. The inline, I mean, it's the JZ platform in general, it has proven itself at this point. But the real one, the real breadwinner here is the 1UZ. Oh my god, the 1UZ is one of the most reliable motors ever built, and it's a freaking 270 horsepower V8 by Toyota. It is so cool. They have like a 2UR GSD or something V8 motor that they're putting in modern Toyotas. That thing's cool too. I love when Toyota makes V8s because they make them reliable. They're like the only company besides like Chevy that knows how to do that. I love it. However, reason number 2 as to why I think you should not buy an SC300 or SC400 is the front lower ball joints need to be replaced more frequently than regular cars. This, at first glance, for like anybody that's not really into cars that much, or is just starting, you know, just a new mechanic, you might think that's not the end of the world. It's just a suspension piece, right? Right, but also wrong. It really depends on how far along you are in your mechanic journey, because in order to replace ball joints, in order to even get them out, you need some special tool. I can't remember what it's called, but let's call it a ball joint replacer. That sounds like a good tool. But yeah, you need a special tool in order to even get them out in the first place, and a lot of you first-time mechanics are obviously not going to have that tool, and so you're pretty much either going to have to buy the tool, which is going to spend even more money, or bring it to a shop, which is most likely what you're going to end up doing, because it is a pain and also kind of risky doing it by yourself. And at that point, it's pretty expensive. And considering that they need to do it much more frequently than a regular car, obviously that's not that fun. Reason number 3 as to why I think you should buy an SC300 or SC400, however, though, is everything about the parts in general. Like, yeah, we just talked about how the front lower ball joints do need to be replaced more frequently. However, this is like a rebuttal to that, because aftermarket support for this car is through the roof. All the parts for this car are extremely cheap, and it's a very easy car to fix. Now, is it as cheap as like a 99 Civic? Obviously not. This is a 90s Japanese car, so there were a lot of parts made for them, sure, but at the end of the day, the SC300 still was a pretty rare car for its time. It was an expensive car, so there isn't as many parts out there as something like a 90s Civic, but it is still in that realm where it's a 90s car. All the companies that have parts for them don't want the parts for them anymore, and they're selling them for dirt cheap. It is very easy to find and source parts for an SC300. Maybe not OEM like original parts, but aftermarket parts, it's very easy to find those. And the car itself is not that hard to work on, I've heard, based off forums. Apparently the engine bay has plenty of space, which makes sense. The car is freaking huge, and it's very, very forgiving of a car. It's also a 90s car. The only thing that probably will get in the way is, again, the electrical components of it. Which, speaking of electrical components, this brings me perfectly into my next point. Reason number 3 as to why I think you should not buy an SC300 or SC400 is lowering these cars can absolutely cook the wiring harness inside of the fender, because apparently the wiring harness runs right above the fender liner there, right inside the fender right there. And so the second you lower it, obviously your tires might start rubbing up against that wiring harness, which would obviously destroy it, and you don't want that. Now, at first, you might be thinking, why does that matter? It matters because I think anybody watching this video has the idea of lowering the SC300. Like, I don't think it's very crazy to say that if a person's buying an SC300 or SC400 in 2025, they're going to lower the car. And so if you're going to lower that car, I think this is a very important thing to know, that you really have to be careful or completely redirect that wiring harness to a different location so that you don't rub through your wiring harness and just brick your car, which is not, again, this is not fun at all. Wiring is just a freaking nightmare in any car, let alone a 90s Japanese car. However, reason number 4 as to why I think you should buy this one is kind of an obvious one. It's the comfort. This was the car's whole selling point back in the day. So for those who don't know, the SC300 and SC400 is like the LC500 of today. It was a car that was marketed as an the extreme Lexus back in the 90s. This was like the peak Lexus car. It had all the comfort and, you know, luxury of something like the LS400 with all the sportiness and fun of something like the IS300. Just like how the LC500 today has all the sportiness and fun of something like an RCF with all the luxury and comfort of something like a GS500 or whatever they're making today. I don't know what they're making. But either way, yeah, because of that, these cars are extremely comfortable. I've never actually gotten to ride in one, but I mean, it's a freaking no-brainer, bro. You could just see that it's comfortable, and everybody online says it's comfortable. It's a known fact that these cars are comfortable. If you want a car that you feel extremely comfortable in driving to work, this is one of them for you. I would recommend, if you're looking for that specifically and you want a 90s Lexus, I would recommend an LS400 over this, but it still gets that done. But reason number 4 as to why I think you should not buy an SC300 and an SC400 is another problem here. The timing belt needs to be replaced every 80,000 miles on the 2JZ. The 1UZ is much more forgiving on that. It's much less frequent, I should say. But if you do get the 2JZ, which is the SC300, you will have to replace the timing belt every 80,000 miles. Now, that's not actually as scary and as hard as it sounds. Apparently, because the car has so much engine-based space when you're working on it, apparently doing a timing belt on a 2JZ and an SC300 is actually not that challenging. It's annoying and it's stressful because it's a timing belt, but it's not like a super time-consuming job, and it's not really the end of the world like it sounds like at first. You know what I mean? At first it sounds scary, at first it sounds like it's not going to be that fun, but apparently it's not that bad for the 2JZ. And yes, every 80,000 miles is definitely more frequently than like an average car, but it's still 80,000 miles. Like, you're gonna swap the timing belt out, drive the car for the next 8 years on average if you're driving this thing 10,000 miles a year, which means that it would be your daily. And if it's not going to be your daily, you're not driving it 10,000 miles every year, so it's probably going to take even longer than 8 years. But even if it was your daily and you're driving it on average 10,000 miles every single year, that means you're driving it for 8 whole years and you have to do it again. Like, yeah, it's more frequent than a regular car, but 8 years of driving the car, by the time it reaches that point, you might not even have the car anymore. But reason number 5, the final reason as to why I think you should buy an SC300 or an SC400, in my personal opinion, is the interior. Now, we talked about the comfort a little while ago because the car is comfortable to drive. You could fall asleep in a freaking SC300. But now let's talk about the other part of the interior, which is the gauges and the dash and the freaking knobs or buttons, whatever it may be. It is so cool. You don't have to drive one of these things to know that. This car's interior is just awesome. This is like the perfect mixture of like modern technology, but 90s analog interior, in my opinion. It looks incredible. It's like a resto mod, but from the freaking 90s. The interior is so cool. It's so innovative. Yes, some of these things might not work at this point because the car's 30 years old, and so you might press a button in your interior and it might do absolutely nothing. It might come out and just pepper spray you in the face for some reason accidentally. But it is still a really freaking cool interior, and I like it a lot. I think most people would like this a lot, especially if you're a car guy. However, reason number 5 as to why I think you should not buy this car, and the last reason as to why I think you should not buy this car, is another part of the interior, actually. I feel like it's a very big selling point of the SC300 and SC400s are their interiors, so that's why I keep bringing up things like this, but also just because there's really not that many big problems with these cars. But reason number 5 is all the plastic interior pieces can easily crack and just get nasty as well over time. These cars had a tan or light gray interior, and since they're 30 years old at this point, what that means is most of those freaking interior pieces are stained and gross now. Sure, a good detailing can get it out, but are you up to the task to do that? I personally know I am not. I suck at detailing. I can't do it for the life of me. I make it look worse somehow when I get in there. But if you do know how to do that and you're fine at that and you like it, like my friend Dom, he loves doing it and he's so good at doing it. It's like his favorite pastime out there, detailing a car. So if you're like him, that's fine. But just know that there are going to be a lot of interior pieces in this car. The car is 30 years old, guys. Are going to be cracked, disgusting, missing completely in some cases even. It's not like, yeah, if you look up a picture of SC300 interior, it looks beautiful, like I said in the last reason. But there is a caveat to that, there is a catch to that, and that is the fact that those are perfect cars. The cars that you're looking at on Google are perfect cars. The 99% of the SC300 and SC400s out there are not going to have an interior of that quality. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video of the 5 reasons I think you should and the 5 reasons I think you should not buy a Lexus SC300 or SC400. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Let me know what other videos you'd like to see in the comment section down below. Check the links in the description for any of my other social medias or any of my other YouTube channels or any of that great stuff. And I will be leaving a comment down below with my new YouTube channel called Giggity Plays, where I'll be uploading any sort of gameplay videos, live gameplay videos in the future, because I wanted to. I figured it would help with my ranting and rambling on this channel, and also I wanted to try new games, so I made a channel for that. So it'll be in the comments below. I'm going to try and pin the comment from now on, that way you guys can see it right away. And I will probably be saying this for the rest of my YouTube career, so get used to it. Gosh darn it, I'm going to keep shouting out that channel, unless it gets to a point where it's like that channel has more subscribers or something than this channel, and there's no point in shouting it out. But I don't think that will ever happen. But either way, that is the end of today's video. I hope you guys are enjoying this series, man. I'm having a fun time making them. It's so cool because it's like the good, bad, and uglies, but just the good and ugly parts. You know what I mean? And it's just like skipping out of like the kind of boringer parts, I would say, and just going with the more important, interesting stuff to talk about. And I like it a lot. I'm liking this series a lot, so I hope you guys are as well. And if you are, please let me know any other cars you'd like to see me do it on. I have a ridiculous amount of ideas, obviously, for cars. There are hundreds of cars out there that I could do this video on. But if you have a certain car you'd like to see me do first, a comment is the best way to getting it out there. Also, I was gonna say something else too. I forget what it was though. Driving me insane. Oh yeah, I figured I should probably let you guys know at the end of these videos from now on whether or not I think you actually should buy the car, because I said like 5 reasons you should, 5 reasons you should not. and then I never really say whether or not the good outweighs the bad or whatever it may be, you know what I mean? And so I figured that would be a good idea, so I'll say it now. I'll make it more nice, smooth flowing in the future ones for sure. This is a completely new series. This is a complete rough draft. We are just trying to work things out and see how the series works and see what does work and what doesn't work. And so this is one of those things that will work out in the future ones. In the future ones, I'll mention this actually in the video before the outro, whether or not I think you should buy it. But with the SC300 and SC400, I think there is a strong chance I think you should buy this car. It depends on obviously the type of person you are. If you're not a car guy, then there's no reason to. But if you are a car guy looking for something that's cool, but also fun, but also reliable, and also a good daily, whatever, blah, 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 comfortable, then, I mean, there's really not that many good options out there except for the SC300. It really is just such a good option. And yeah, you probably want the manuals, but if you're buying it for like a daily, the automatics are perfectly fine, and they're going to be dirt cheap. So I think they're great. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Das Vidania, and have a nice night.